the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up!
Welcome everybody to another episode of This is CorbinCenter, and I am riding a wave on this one. I am super stoked for what we get to talk about, but first, I'm also super stoked because I have a new Patreon subscriber. Courtney, you are my Corbinite Recognition. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And I always appreciate every member of my Patreon being super supportive, and you might want to stay tuned because I might have some opportunities for you who might be interested or on the fence. That you'll want to pay attention to what I've been doing coming up here. But let's talk about what I'm stoked about. I'm representing my home team, the Minnesota Twins. Since the first time that I was a junior in high school, have won a playoff series, and I was there to see it all go down. That's right, a wonderful spot. Getting to be one of my things since I moved down to the Twin Cities was getting to go to more games. I am a huge baseball fan. It was always a special treat to be able to go, and now I can treat myself. And whether it's been through the luxury of having the ability through wrestling to be able to go, or because of people I know, or just in general being close enough to be able to do it. But today was the first time I ever went to a Twins playoff game, and it was the first time in 21 years that they advanced. And before anybody wants to say anything and be like, oh, well, you know, this team did this, or my team did this, or whatever, shut it. Because no one's going to rain on my parade. That's the biggest thing. That's like when people try and find any reason to put somebody else down. No, I'm going to enjoy this moment. It's like when people come on my fan page or say something really like, how about that losing streak, or big surprise that you actually won a match. Hardy, har, har. Because when I win and I win championships and all that stuff, like, it doesn't matter if I lose 2 prior to that and I win 1. So if I lose 2 and then I win the 2 most important matches, just like the Twins did today against the Blue Jays, that sums up me. Maybe I'm just a Minnesota boy, Minnesota sports star, all that stuff. And for all of those people, when I was walking out of the stadium, there was a Blue Jays fan who was giving high fives and saying, good game, guys, good game, go get them, go get them, go get them, all that stuff. That meant a lot to me. So I ginger snapped him and sent him back to Canada. I'm just kidding. I would not do that. What I did is I gave him a high five, because even though I might be a jerk, even though I've done some despicable things in a wrestling ring, when it comes to baseball, I respect sportsmanship, and that's the big thing. So save your comments if you're not a Twins fan. I don't care. This is a great moment for me. Remember, they haven't won since I've been wrestling. That's wild. Now, something else that's wild is, why hasn't anyone booked me against ECII yet? DC versus ECII. Look, we've been talking about this. We want to. I still think that he assumes that he is on the same level as my brother, but not me. And I got something to prove on this one. I got something to prove. All I need is a chance. All I need is a chance. Corbin or bust. That's what we're talking about. I have all the respect in the world for if this gets put together. And I tell you what, I'll bring my A-game EC3. I want you to know that I will bring the best side of Corbin. So if you only want to wrestle my brother before, you will be happy to wrestle me, because I'll bring everything I got for that championship. Because the idea of me, a Minnesota boy, going for that NWA championship, all these guys who used to talk down to me, who said that I had no respect for history, no respect for lineage, no respect for them because they did a dark match so long ago, and that was their only claim to fame. So now, when they talk to me about that and they say that I will never amount to that, or I wouldn't deserve that, or there's so many people who have wrestled longer than me, so many guys who grew complacent longer than me. I've always evolved, I've always changed, and that's why after almost 20 years, I deserve a shot at this championship. I don't care if I don't wrestle for the NWA. I deserve a shot at that championship, and I know that EC3 is a defending champion, and he wants to go everywhere. So put that championship on the line. Let's make it happen. I'm throwing it out to anybody. So if you see this, either you share it, you retweet it with Corbin or Bust. Let's get that going, and let's make this match a reality. That's what I say. I say let's get something for people to talk about. But also things that we can talk about, which are coming up, which is F1rst Wrestling. I had my weekend off. I don't have much to recap, which totally fine. I actually got a lot done. I'm going to tell you that right now. I actually, episode 300 of Snapchat's coming up. I took some time to put some effort in with a good friend of mine, and we did something special. I'll talk about it a little later. Right now, you're just getting a little sprinkling the teas, as we call it. So you don't get to hear about it more. If you want more about it, come to my Patreon. That's the big thing. But what I wanted to talk about is F1rst Wrestling is going to be at Insight Brewing. So I'm not apparently done yet with F1rst Wrestling and being outside. So there is that going on, and it is October. So we have that all rolling around. And then I also have Open Streets, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Open Streets always used to be in June because I remember that always used to be stifling outside. But we're doing it here in October, and we'll, again, with the way that this year has been, I'm not going to jinx anything. I'm actually looking forward to the cooler temperatures that will be out there. Maybe I won't overheat and have the sun potentially try to kill me while wrestling outside. So this time around, you know how much fun that F1rst Wrestling is at Open Streets, and you can come and check us out there. So I'm looking forward to this weekend big time. And again, there's so much that can go down at these shows. I mean, you never know what might happen and what the highlights are going to be. So you just got to come and see for yourself is what I'm going to say. And first of all, the Open Streets event, that's free. The other one's $10. And for those of you who are watching this that aren't in the Minnesota area, well, I get it. Tough luck. And, then we're going off to Time Bomb. So I have my match with Brandon Gore with Time Bomb here coming up. And I can't really wrap my brain around Mr. Gore and his thought process and all this stuff. I just, I feel like if I ginger snap him, I might knock him the remaining screws that are loose inside that brain. But Brando, just know that I hope you bring your A game. And look, I get it. Going to North Dakota, there are so many whack jobs up there, so many people who think the exact same way. So if you never come back to Minnesota, I would completely 100% understand. Totally get that. And then also coming up here real soon, I got, again, returning to Battleground and returning to, looks like we're going to Anoka for 2 events for F1rst Wrestling. It is Halloween, which will be interesting because Freelance is coming back to the Logan Square Auditorium. So Freelance is coming back to Logan Square. As you know, this is a place that I have a lot of history in. I've had my biggest moments as far as in Freelance. I've won the Freelance Championship. I also successfully defended the Freelance Tag Team Championships. I've had some of my best matches, and that is where people have dubbed that they used to see that old workhorse Corbin come out. And you know what the thing is Freelance, I got to give you credit. You brought that out of me because I saw the heart and passion. Remember, that desire to go to Chicago was almost stifled by Danny and AAW, but his lack of seeing any value in me made me not see any value in making that trip. But it wasn't until I saw Freelance that this made me realize that this is a good spot for me to be in, and this is a spot where I could utilize, and it was a spot where I revamped myself. I reintroduced myself to the Chicago area. I became a champion. They were so used to me being in tag teams, which is funny because I proved how good of a tag wrestler I was. Absolutely. Longest reigning Freelance Tag Team Champions. One half of the longest reigning Freelance Tag Team Champions. So what am I going to do this time around? You see match after match get announced. You see the championship match announced. You see the legacy match announced. Trust me, I will always make it memorable. And now that I know it's back in Logan Square, and I know that Logan Square always appreciates Freelance Wrestling, and I know all eyes are going to be on us again, I am 100% ready to get people talking. So just stay tuned for what's coming up at the end of this month. Now, that's basically my upcoming schedule for the next month or so here, but also some big events that I just got to kind of go through. I mean, November, I make a debut for Madhouse Wrestling. I'm really excited about that. I always like making a new debut. And then when we go to December, I got some stuff that might be a little up in the air. And again, some people have said, well, guess what? Did you see, Darin Corbin? Did you see that AEW is coming to Minneapolis? As if I don't have frickin' eyes, and if I don't pay attention and don't have my finger on the pulse and don't know people at these places. Of course I know they're coming back. So the question is would I be a part of it? Do I want to be a part of it? I mean, I guess the question would be more so, I'll throw it out there. AEW, do you want me to be a part of this event? If you're going to come to Minneapolis again and not use me, the last time you snubbed me, I was actually the ones that I had everyone talking because I bled buckets in the ring the next day. So, yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. I don't really need all eyes on me from your network television to be there. But you know what? If you want to give me a shot, totally fine. That'd be great. You know what? Remember, there used to be people who brought signs that said, book Darin Corbin. I'm just throwing it out there. There's a lot of things that I just want to manifest into the world. Like maybe this. Maybe an NWA championship match. Maybe a new state, maybe something that we can do, or maybe since WrestlePalooza's just announced a double shot, maybe the only Triple Crown champion might have to look to get some gold back. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It's really hard to see. I guess I just have big ambitions, but that's okay. Because if the Twins proved anything, it's that it doesn't matter how long it takes, you can always win. And if it took them 21 years, at 20 years, I'm still going to make a name for myself. So stay tuned for This is CorbinCenter, because you never know what's going to happen in a week. But right now, we're feeling like winners.
Don't stay.